Have Grant Slater, who will be talking to us about servers on fire. So Grant is a long-time OpenStreetMap contributor, and he's also employed as a site reliability engineer, I believe. So thanks a lot, Grant.
Hello. So yes, the talk is the title of the talk is a little bit naughty. Servers on fire. I blame Sarah for choosing the title or encouraging me to do something like that. It's a little different to what I've done previous years, where I've talked really in depth about some of the technology and how we run some of the infrastructure. So this is a bit different, and I'm hoping people are a bit more interactive with me. So there's a few places where I want people to shout out things. So go wild. Don't be reserved. That's boring. So as mentioned, I'm part of the operations team. So we're the people that look after the servers and the infrastructure. So if you were in the previous talk, Andy gave a great talk about what's changed on the website and what runs there. But we are the group that actually run the infrastructure behind the project. So we look after all the servers and all the things that you access day to day. What is our main goal? Well, it's to make OpenStreetMap work, and it should be reliable and accessible, and you should be able to map and just enjoy yourselves doing fun mapping behind the scenes. And we're quite a small team, so there's just a few of us here. So this picture's a bit of a weird mashup. You'll see Andy's there. Andy's kind of part of our team. He gives us suggestions every now and again. So Andy's the person on the left. Then we have Matt, who wrote some of our core software a few years ago. He's less involved, and I hope he comes back. Then there's Paul. So the paste in photo. So Paul's sitting down here. Paul's going to be giving a lovely talk about vector tiles and some new stuff that he's done there. So I'm sure it'll be a great talk. Paul is involved in the operations team and helps doing a lot of the planning and gets quite involved. Then there's a much larger version of me, because this picture's a few years old. And then there's Tom. Tom's dual-rolled. Tom's both on the website maintainers team and writes some of the code, and he's very involved in the operations and writes some of the amazing code that we use for managing all of our infrastructure. And then right on the right-hand side is Sarah. Sarah's primarily looks after Nominatum, which is the geocoder for OpenStreetMap. It's you put in a name and it comes up with the location, or it does reverse lookups. Sarah, I believe, is going to give a talk later. Are you giving a talk? Yes. So Sarah will be giving a talk, I'm sure, about Nominatum. We're all here, well, most of us are here, so please come talk to us about exciting things. Some of us are a bit shy, but go ahead. But okay, so what's the scale of OpenStreetMap? So like, how big is the infrastructure that we have to look after? So I just pulled out some random stats that I'm going to share with you. So the planets.osm.org, it's how we distribute all of our lovely data to all the different things that use our map data. So we publish data there. It's 246 terabytes a month, which is quite a significant amount of data. And you'll see it's hosted on AWS. So we moved previously, and we publish our data via AWS, and AWS are very kind to sponsor some of the stuff that we do using their infrastructure, and that's one of the things that we do. So we don't have to pay for all that amazing bandwidth that we send out via them. But that's small. Fastly, who do if you look at the map on OpenStreetMap, the default layer is a rendered map that we display, and it's tile.osm.org is the infrastructure behind that. And that does 1.4 petabytes a month of traffic, because besides just OpenStreetMap.org that has this map on, there are thousands and thousands of websites that have OpenStreetMap map on. And yeah, that's a lot of traffic, and we're very thankful to Fastly for sponsoring the CDN behind that. We used to run our own CDN behind that, so Content Distribution Network, and it was an absolute pain. So thankfully, we've got Fastly who kindly sponsor us. And the great thing about Fastly CDN is we are able to customize it and do all sorts of magic things about how we do caching and how we block some sort of abuse. And Fastly's got a great tool for doing that. Fastly, the tile service does 122 billion requests a month. So that's quite a lot of traffic. And, you know, it's thousands of requests a second. So great, thank you to them. The website does a mere 1 billion requests a month. That's quite a significant number. It varies depending what we're doing. And we run that on real physical hardware in a data center. So that can be quite of a challenge for us. But so far it's gone reasonably well. And the picture there, which I'll show larger further on, is actually the physical infrastructure that we use there. That's the website that Andy gave a great talk about. But we run a whole bunch of things. We run lots of things, and we have this website called hardware.osm.org, which basically lists all the infrastructure that we have. And I'm sure Andy's probably smiling because he wrote the great generator for this page that queries our infrastructure and publishes this summarized view of all our infrastructure. It's an absolutely awesome tool that we have. So this is a live updated website that pulls down from our infrastructure management tool and through some magic generates this web page. So as we change infrastructure or the purposes of machines and functions of things, it all gets updated every 30 minutes on this live generated website. So if you're interested in what infrastructure we have, it's a great little website to give you an idea. We also, a bit insanely, we publish all of our metric data. So the metrics of how people access, access patterns and how many widgets we're serving and how many gigabytes of whatever we're using. It's all on prometheus.org, and we do all of for the ops team, we do alerting out of this tool. So this is the real data that we use for monitoring the infrastructure. And we try to monitor absolutely everything. We know, how hot is the air coming into our servers and how hot is it leaving our servers. We monitor crazy things like that and fan speeds and, as I mentioned, how many widgets or whatever. But we've got loads and loads of different dashboards that expose some of the data that we're monitoring. And then out of this, we also have alerting that might wake me up at 3 in the morning to say some server's down and please fix it. So, but we expose it all. Unlike many projects on the web, you can see all of our metric data and you can see the growth of OpenStreetMap month to month. And if you want to probe, there's lots of cool things in there. Yeah, and as I mentioned, we run on real physical infrastructure in many places for many of the things that we have. I love hardware, so I've got a lovely picture. We tend to actually run most of our infrastructure off second-hand equipment, and we do that just because we're thrifty about spending donors' money. So you'll see we've got 2 standardized types of hardware that we have there. We have super micro machines, which we use for databases, and we buy those new or really high performance servers. And then all the rest where we can buy multiple, we tend to buy HP. And so far for many years, it's worked really well for us. And yeah, we've had good stuff. But I'm going to be talking about some of the problems we've had. So I'm going to highlight 5 incidents that we've had over the last few years, and I'm looking for some interactive audience participation. So hopefully they're quite interesting. We've had many things happen over the last few years, but I've just chosen 5 to give us a feel for some of the things that we deal with. Okay. So the first one. I've given a little bit of code snippet here. I don't know if it's quite readable, but this was one of the incidents we had. So I don't know if you can read this code base, but can anyone figure out what this does? Anyone? I'll give you a clue. It's got a function name that says check is online. And it's trying, what it's doing is it's got an OpenStreetMap URL in there. And sorry? Yeah. So it's a naughty little bit of code that someone has. Anyone guess what app does this? I'll give you a clue. It's not OpenStreetMap that's doing this. It's not JOSM. It's nothing related to OpenStreetMap that is doing that. That's why this is an incident. The bit that's really annoying is this 3000 at the bottom. That means every 3 seconds, it's doing a check to OpenStreetMap, running a very expensive search query to check, am I online? So who the hell would do this? It's a commercial CCTV software to check whether or not it's connected to the internet. And it's not one application that's running, it's hundreds, and it's used by primarily, it seems, universities. So some lovely company thought the best way to check if this application is online is to do a very expensive query against OpenStreetMap every 3 seconds with hundreds of instances of this application. So you can imagine what happened to us when this application got deployed. We went, what the? And our servers, unfortunately, started to melt because this is an expensive query. So now for a bit of interaction, what should we do? Should we block it? Or should we be evil and send them a big fake response that makes the application explode? So I know what I would really like to do. Because you could send just a tiny compressed file back to them that explodes into a 1 gigabyte file. It'd be so easy to do that. So the response from the audience is filter out the access and ignore it. And yeah, that's the boring response, and that's the one we've actually done. So yeah, if you do that magic query that this application does, and yes, it includes the current time in the query, just to make it extra annoying, you will get an access denied or access some sort of error message back, and we filtered this. But this started back in 2020, and we're still getting thousands of these requests. And because it comes from universities and they tend to all share the same IP address, we can't just block that IP address forever and forget about it. So really annoying. That's one of the incidents we've had to deal with. Yeah, so we weren't that evil with them. We send them some error response and we ignore their queries. Going on to the number 2, another audience participation. This is a lovely website off the internet I found, and it's a perfect solution for game monetization, app and game monetization. They've got all their lovely security credentials and an ethical way to monetize your app. What do you think these guys do? Anyone? So they make something that you can embed in your application. So what might that be? There's one. A cryptocurrency miner. That's a really good option, but no, it's not. It's not using your CPU to mine cryptocurrency. Anything else? Andy? Location tracking, that's another one. Yeah, there are many apps that do location tracking. There's one more. Web page spidering, that's getting pretty close. So if you look hidden here, it says scraper APIs. So that's a big clue. So what this SDK is actually, is it's a hidden embedded web proxy so that AI companies can scrape data from residential IP addresses. So because if we get abuse, what do? We block it. But what happens if it was coming from tens of thousands of home IP addresses? And that's what this lovely SDK does. And it's one of many, many such companies that have sprung up over the last few years, so that, you know, if you're an evil core, literally or figuratively, and you want to access something that you'd usually get blocked from, well, you just proxy it through someone's phone or mobile app that's running, and you can access it from many different IP addresses. So yeah, that's pretty naughty, and it's an ongoing challenge which we've had to do. So it's a battle to detect. We rate limit it. We might end up having to deploy some things to detect, are you a human? And we have monitoring and blocking behind that. I'm going to speed up a little because I'm going through the time pretty quickly. So here's another one. Why would the official 2019 London Marathon app be an issue for us? So obviously a few years ago, why would the official London Marathon app? It's a challenging one. Yeah, so suddenly lots of people use the app at the same time. Yeah, that's definitely part of the reason. I'll give you a quick screenshot of the app. Maybe you can see something there from the app. So the London Marathon app a few years ago, which is very widely used. It was 500,000 plus people downloaded the app. The London Marathon happens on a Sunday, and it's only a couple of hours. We hadn't been told that they were going to use OpenStreetMap, or actually the tile service that we run that is the map service here. And I woke up on Sunday morning and went, gee whiz, our server's on fire. What the hell's going on? And very quickly realized that, yeah, they're using our map. They hadn't told us, no forewarning. And all of our infrastructure in London was starting, our tile rendering infrastructure and tile serving infrastructure was melting. So what we had to do is we disabled our usual balancing of traffic, and we basically went, all the servers in Europe serve the traffic in London. So we rebalanced that, and it worked. And people could see, you could see where your friends were running and how far they'd run through the race. So it was a very narrow window. It was only about 12 hours. We had to do some extra stuff, but it worked quite well. Yeah. On to the fourth one, our internet connectivity in our data center. So this is a diagram of our internet, and we spoke to some lovely sales guys in our ISP, and we wanted resilience. We wanted it to be 100% reliable. So we've got 2 routers, and we've got an internet connection, 2 internet connections, and it goes into our ISP. What could be wrong with that? Like, can anyone give a suggestion what might go wrong? You know, we've got resilient connections. No, we run the router B, so it runs reliable. Yes, in this case, our infrastructure here is in the same location. That wasn't the issue here, that we had the infrastructure in the same location. This caused the biggest outage that we've had for the last few years. So Sean's got a suggestion. I think Paul's cracked it. Sean's cracked it. Yeah, we had all the redundant hardware, but our ISP didn't. The sales guy was eager to sell to us the multiple redundant links, but when it got to their equipment, there was only one piece of equipment we were plugging into. And even worse than that, they had no spare equipment in Europe. So their hardware failed, and they had to ship out a replacement from California, which is insane. We were misled, but we were able to reduce this multiple day outage by actually switching to another ISP during the outage. So we switched to Equinix Internet. There's a full write-up and all the pain that we had there and how we recovered from it, but we now look like something like this. So we still have that ISP as a backup, and we have a new ISP, Equinix Internet, who are very kindly sponsoring that connectivity to us for nothing. So we don't even pay for their brilliant service, and it goes into separate equipment, and it works really well. Next one, which I'm going to race through, is we occasionally get lovely emails like this. So it seems like a perfectly reasonable request. Can I have higher bandwidth obviously get some data from OpenStreetMap. You know, seems reasonable. What might be the issue here? Well, let me give you the rest of the email. I've been downloading change sets via the API. I've been doing it for 8 hours. I'm now getting a bandwidth limit exceeded error. I'm doing 70 successful requests a second, but 97% of my requests are being bandwidth throttled. So how many requests is he doing a second? And he's using 20 separate instances to basically hit our mapping API as hard as possible to download. And yeah, he's going to run this for 5 or 7 months. So maybe not. This was one of the ones where we basically said, no, you can't bombard. Our APIs are for mappers. The APIs that we run are primarily for mappers, and we have usage policies that basically say no. We publish all our data, like the data that he was trying to get, there's a bulk download of that data and he can get it. And there are other services that are linked from our API policy documentation that says, you know, if you want this data or there's other ways of getting the data, use one of these other people that might have lovely processed data for you. So that was it. But operations team, those are some highlights of some of the incidents that we have. We look after the hardware, we manage the software and the setup, the redundancy, the availability, the scanning, the planning, the budgeting, and we set up some of the usage policies. So we're a volunteer team that do quite a lot, and we're always looking for more help. So if you want to communicate with us, these are some of the places that we hang out in. So we're on Mastodon at OSM_tech. Most of the issues or things that we're planning, we put onto GitHub, and they're in this issues tracker. You're welcome to look there. We're very old school how we communicate in real time. We're on IRC, which you need gray hair, I think, to still be on these days. But there are modern ways to connect to us, and you can discuss there. We also have a video call every second week where we discuss real things and planning some things there. And anyone's welcome to join that if you've got a particular focused thing to talk about. We try not to just get too distracted in those calls, so if you want to join, you can come as an observer, or it's a pointed discussion which we've put into the agenda. We use a whole lot of great software. We use a tool called Chef for managing our servers. We use Debian. We've got OpenTofu for managing all the cloud infrastructure. We've got some great people that kindly sponsor us and stuff that we use. So AWS sponsor us, Fastly sponsor us, and Equinix sponsor our racks and hosting. So really great thanks to them. And I think I've got like 1 minute for questions.
I just also want to point out that we have a meeting on. Sunday at the Hack Thing after this conference. If anyone is sticking around for that, can show up. We might give you work. And the other thing is subsea cables.
Oh yeah.
Which we may not have the time to talk about that.
Hi, God. Well done. Martin from Cycle Streets. I absolutely recognise your pain about number 2, AI scraping. We have cases of thousands, over 1,000 concurrent requests taking down a 40-core server. And companies like Bright Data, which basically offer residential proxies, call themselves ethical and so on. It's completely unethical. I just firstly wondered what exactly they're trying to get out of it. And secondly, I mean, don't 4 of these 5 cases really point to the need for better DDoS protection more generally in terms of how perhaps there's authentication of the API, that kind of thing? Because it feels to me there's a certain degree of vulnerability here. Yeah.
So AI scraping and these companies pulling data, it seems so untargeted, some of the data that they're scraping. It's, you know, there's a group of guys on the internet, people called data hoarders, that just collect all the videos or everything that they can get. That's what AI companies seem to be doing at the moment. They just want everything off the web, and they don't care about how they get it. They just want it so they can feed it into their big LLMs. We've had very obscure things, like tiles are being scraped by some of these scrapers, like map tiles, like individual, like we have billions of those, and they're trying to scrape those. So Yes. How do we protect against those? So there's a whole lot of different ways, and we do in front of the website, we do have a DDoS protection tool at the moment. We have Cloudflare, which is I won't say more about Cloudflare, but we're currently switching away from Cloudflare. We're moving the website to be fronted by Fastly, and Fastly have a whole lot of tools for controlling DDoS and AI scrapers and all these things. So we're going to test that out to see how it goes. There are lots of tools that have developed recently about managing DDoS and scraping, and we've had a denial of service attack that flooded our internet connection that we couldn't even access our servers via the main door. So it's a hard challenge. You can put all these lovely tools that filter your DDoS on your infrastructure, but then if the DDoS is so big, the denial of service attack is so big, it can just flood your entire internet connection. So there's nothing that can prevent that. So you have to have sort of cloud services outside that protect that, and Fastly we've got a great relationship with Fastly. They're very helpful. They've got absolutely amazing things, and we're going to be working more with them to do some of the protection. Yeah. Anything else for anything else? Last question. No? Oh, one.
I'm not the greatest expert in how you organize a database and websites, but I guess you're a very good target for ransomware. How can you protect yourself? Or is it not your level?
Yeah, so we have had one sort of ransom type request. It was one of the denial of service attacks that we had. So we involved the police force in that. We reported it to the UK cyber. So we had a denial of service attack, and they sent us an email going, we'll stop once you pay us. And of course, no, we're not going to pay you. It's wrong. Yeah, but we try to protect against those, and we try ensure our servers are secure as possible, and we back up all the data. 3-2-1 is one of the rules. Three backups in 2 places, of which 1 has to be offline. So we do all those smart things and hopefully protect us if we ever had a true ransomware attack. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.